from Pro Guitar Studio. Welcome back. Today we're going to look at a funky blues piece that's going to help you work on a range of skills. And the coolest thing here is that we're going to use a chord shape that can be used whether you're using a pick or your fingers. But in this example here, I'm going to use my fingers. So we're going to be able to use our fingers to pick this shell voicing, which is a 3-note 7th chord. And I'll get into that in a moment. We're going to also work through the 12-bar blues, get that going. And we're also going to add in some slapping, okay? And on top of that, we're going to add in some embellishments that you can add to this chord. And so even if you don't play it note for note the way I'm doing it, you can get some ideas on how to take this chord and apply it to your own playing, whether it's a blues or something else. So just diving right in here, the chord that I'm basing this whole thing off of is a G7, C7, and D7. So a 7th chord, a dominant 7th chord, okay? Now, usually in the G7 chord, we'd have a G, B, D, and F sharp, okay? So 1, root 3rd, 5th, flat 7th. Now, those are 4 notes that create the G7. But what I'm going to do here, I'm going to cut out the 5th, the D note, and we're going to play just the root, the flat 7, and the 3rd. So this is what's known as a shell voicing. Now, because in almost every instance in a major scale, the 5th note is a perfect 5th, aside from chord number 7, the diminished chord. That note there is easy to leave out, because when we leave it out, our ears hear that would be the note that's being played. Right now, when we hear this, we don't hear it like this. We don't assume that. So the assumption from our ears is that perfect 5th is there. And that's why the shell voicing works so nicely. So it's just basically those 3 notes, the root, the flat 7, and the 3rd, right? So in this case here, 3rd fret string 6, 3rd fret string number 4, 4th fret string number 3. Now I'm using my fingers to pick it. If you want to use a pick to strum along with this, you can totally do that. Just make sure you block out the strings you don't want to hear. So I'm going to do thumb on my picking hand, and then these 2 fingers on string number 3 and 4 together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit thumb, notes, and I'm going to slap the strings. Now when I slap the strings, I'm basically coming down with my index finger against those strings that I'm plucking, okay? My thumb is hitting, I guess we'll say a little further down, because it's the knuckle of the thumb that's hitting string number 6. So I'm going to go thumb, fingers, slap, which is that sound. So thumb, fingers, slap, then up, and then we do the thumb again. And the fingers come twice in a row after that. Then the slap one more time. So thumb, fingers, slap, up, thumb, fingers, fingers, slap. Then I'm going to do 1 fret back slide. So I'm going to go back to the fret number 2 with the whole shape. Hit string number 6. And then I'm going to do the fingers. I'm going to slide up. So when I hit the fingers, so it is. I'm going to get the sound of the whole chord sliding up 1 fret. Now that slap is mimicking the snare drum, so if you want to leave it out, I'll try to leave it out. It's hard for me not to do it. It can totally be done that way, okay? So that's the foundation there, though. Now you can start adding more thumb in if you want, so. That works too. And so that first time around, I do. Now the second time, I'm gonna go. So I go. So thumb, fingers, slap, up, back to the thumb, and I'm going to take my pinky finger and pick fret number 5 on string 3 and pull off to the 4th fret. Okay, so you do, so thumb, finger pull off, thumb, back to the string of 3, and then slap the strings. Back to the bass note. And I'm going to pull off from fret number 5 on string 4 to the 3rd fret where my middle finger already is. And these are embellishments you don't have to do. So this is just the second part. If you just wanted to stick with a totally fine. For the second half I'm doing here. Alright, so I'll play it from the start, the main phrase we're gonna get here. And repeat it. Alright, now we're gonna move it down to fret number 8. Okay, so exact same thing, but on fret number 8. So taking the same shapes we did on fret number 3 to fret number 8. That gives us a C7 chord, okay? And instead of doing that whole pattern twice, we're just gonna do it one time. So down here on the G. Once, then we do twice. C once. Back to G, once. Now we're going to go all the way down to fret number 10 to a D7. And instead of doing any kind of embellishment here, no sliding, we're going to go down 1 fret to a C sharp or D flat. So what I'm doing here is thumb, fingers, slap, up, and then yeah, so after the slap, I go do up on the fingers. And then thumb, fingers, down 1 fret. And then down to fret number 8, which is a C. So thumb, fingers, slap, up. Thumb, fingers, thumb, fingers, thumb, fingers. And then back to the G7, the same pattern one more time. All right, so the cool thing here with that embellishment, doing the 4th to the 3rd always sounds good. So no matter which kind of major chord you're playing, that will sound good. Even if it is, for those of you who know music theory, on chord number 4, the Lydian mode, we'll say, when it has a raised 4th. So if you're playing in the key of G, typically chord number 4 would have a raised 4th, but in the blues it doesn't really matter. You do the same thing. And even if it's not the blues, if you do that on the 4 chord, it still sounds pleasing to the ear. We're so used to hearing it in so many songs where the player will treat the 4 chord without that extra additional sharp 4, okay? So just keep that in mind. We can still do that on chord 4. But in this case here, we're applying the same thing to all the chords. G7, C7, and D7. So because we're doing that, basically we're changing the key each time the chord changes. So if you're soloing on this, you can use the G minor pentatonic. You can use arpeggio. So I was doing a lot of arpeggio stuff. G7, C7, and D7. So that's what makes it a lot of fun for me, just trying to follow the chord changes and outline those. So as you're going through this, just try to keep in mind, it doesn't have to be the exact same way that I played it, okay? So feel free to make your own version up. And we're just trying to get some funky sounds here. So we're trying to get that thumb and index finger, just getting that very staccato, right? So I'm muting the strings really quickly with my fretting hand after I play it. But you can also use... So definitely not as interesting in terms of the sound with the pick, but I think it sounds cool either way. So experiment, see what you come up with. If you get an idea from this, let me know. If you want to see more videos like this each week, subscribe, give me a thumbs up, and keep me posted on what you enjoy. So with that being said, have a great week. I'll see you soon.